I've been thinking a lot about aesthetics lately. How important are aesthetics to the quality of our lives? How important is it to the quality of our practice? How important are they to how we want to present ourselves to the world? Do you judge yourself or others on the aesthetics they present? So what is an aesthetic? One definition is a particular theory or conception of beauty or art, a taste for or approach to what is pleasing to the senses, especially sight. Today is May 5th, it's Cinco de Mayo, so happy Cinco de Mayo to all those who celebrate. I'm just working on a little art right now. We inherited a lot of my brother-in-law's bottles and vases, which are just beautiful and gorgeous, and I have them all on my stairway. And so I wanted to hang a picture behind it to go with the bottles. I love the witchy aesthetic of these bottles on my stairway. I've been thinking a lot about aesthetics lately. It's always a hot topic in the witchcraft community, and I don't know why that is. There's aesthetics in everything. Aesthetics play a role in countless areas of our lives. Sunsets, forests, landscapes, neighborhoods, humans, all have a certain aesthetic. The makeup we wear or don't wear, the style of clothes we wear, a certain purse or shoes we choose, what you choose will give off a certain vibe. You choose things to tell a bigger story about yourself, to feel a certain way. Grunge, cottagecore, streetwear, jock, soft girl, badass, vintage, goth, country. All of these are examples of an aesthetic. Even the music or visual arts we choose, the place we live, our furnishings, the car we drive, all of these things determine our aesthetic. All of these give others a bigger picture of the kind of person we are, or at least how we want to be seen by others. We all have an aesthetic, whether we are trying to or not. Witches discuss aesthetics all the time. Do aesthetics play a role in what kind of witch you are? Big question, and it usually comes into play when you see another witch's practice, or at least what they want you to see. Instagram is a great example of where you will find an array of witchy aesthetics, from simple to having all the tools, from light to goth, boho to earthy. I love looking at beautiful altars, and I love getting a peek into another witch's aesthetic. I know what I present to the world is what I want to present. It only represents a small part of my practice. The thing is, some witches compare themselves to what they see on social media. When witches are just starting their journey in the occult, they might think they need all the tools. If their path is spiritual, they might think they have to have a big, beautiful altar. But unless they go out and buy everything, they have very little as far as tools used, and they see themselves as less than. Witchcraft and the life of a witch is very much romanticized on social media. There is a lot of fluff. I want to give you an example of the importance of aesthetics from a totally different side here, from a totally different genre. Okay, so 2 years and 2 months ago exactly, I purchased brand new appliances for my kitchen. They were beautiful. appliance I bought is secondhand or rebuilt. We have a fabulous appliance store, a used appliance store, just a few blocks away. So yeah, that's where we always got our appliances. They were inexpensive, just in my comfort zone when it comes to money, inexpensive. And also, the reuse, recycle thing always plays a part. But it was time. Like, I was in my late 50s, and I wanted something brand new for myself. I went to culinary school. I'm a cook. I know gourmet cooking. I know how food should look. And yeah, there is an aesthetic as far as food goes. Texture, color, what you serve it on, that too has an aesthetic. But I wanted appliances that represented who I was in the kitchen, what I was in the kitchen. So we went out and bought these beautiful appliances, a new refrigerator, a new stove, and I loved my refrigerator. It was shiny and beautiful. We called her Ginger because she was just so gorgeous. And even though after, all that time, 2 years, I still had trouble organizing the inside of Ginger. I don't know why, and after 2 years, I should not have had trouble finding an organization pattern in my refrigerator. 2 months after my extended warranty ran out, my refrigerator's compressor went out. And I'm going to tell you, as petty as this sounds, I was devastated. Oh my God, almost wanted to cry. Like, how could I even think I could have new appliances, right? Like, I didn't deserve it to begin with. Wrong. But yeah, I was just devastated. We spent a lot of money on that refrigerator, and to have it repaired would cost more than going to get a brand new one. So we chose once again to go on down to our local used appliance store, okay, so I was not impressed. I was not impressed when I was trying to find something within my price range of affordable, and I wanted something that looked good, and nothing could replace Ginger. And we brought home Marianne. And while Marianne was less flashy and she wasn't shiny, she was plain and white and small, and she didn't have the fluff. But she is so easy to organize and so gigantic on the inside. So that was kind of a little lesson for me in there. Does having Marianne, this used appliance, does that have any impact on how I am as a cook? And no, it doesn't. Doesn't make my food any less wonderful. No, it doesn't. Maybe that should be my sin for next year's Black Lent. Maybe I should choose pride, because I am so proud of the fact that I'm an amazing cook. Like, if there's one thing I can do well, it's that. Tools can be helpful, but they don't make me a talented cook. That comes from within.
Do the potatoes, because I'm an awesome cook, even with my ugly fridge. Doesn't matter what things look like.
Comes from education and intuition and experience over time. and knowing myself.
Oh my God, that's so good. A little more cream.
A witch's tools can be helpful and fun, but not having them does not make you any less talented as a witch. That too comes from within. It comes from education and intuition and experience and knowing yourself. Those are the most important tools. I love looking at other witches' setups, other witches' aesthetics. What I'm looking at is what that particular person wants me to see. Does that mean it's not real? Absolutely not. I have a really witchy aesthetic going on in my house, like my entire house. But I only show you what I want you to see. So, like when I'm showing you something on my counter that's witchy and beautiful, I'm not showing you that there's, peanut butter on the counter or a bag of hot dog buns sitting on the counter. You see what my house looks like. You see my witchy aesthetic, but you don't see my mess. So does that make it any less real? No, not at all. Not at all. And so how important is an aesthetic to your witchcraft practice? For me, it's really important. Okay, so I've had this aesthetic even before I called myself a witch. I didn't have the altar and such, but I've always had that kind of vibe thing going on. That's what I'm comfortable with. So I create surroundings that I feel comfortable in, that enhance my practice, that enhance my every moment of the day. So yeah, I love getting a peek into another witch's aesthetic, but I've learned not to judge a book by the cover. I know what I present. I know what I present to the world is what I want to present. It only represents a small part of my practice. Let's face it, the tools are fun and they can enhance your witchcraft or your cooking when they're functional, and even when they're not, they can change how you feel, set a mood. But are they necessary? Not really. My house has a very witchy aesthetic. My whole house. It's 20 or so years of things I've collected and created and purchased, but it's not what makes me a talented witch. It's just another example of aesthetics and the role they play in your life. Aesthetics gets a bad rap in witchcraft, but I don't know why. It doesn't get a bad rap anywhere else. It's just part of who we are. It's what we want to show to the world. It's a way we want to feel. The thing is, witches tend to compare their practice, their setup, to somebody else's. That's no different than somebody comparing what they're wearing to somebody else's style choice. There are aesthetics everywhere. The thing is not to compare in the first place. You might not be seeing the whole picture. I don't show you my whole practice. And perhaps somebody who has beautiful aesthetics doesn't necessarily practice. That's none of my business. I don't care if what they have is beautiful and maybe gives me ideas of something I might want to look at. I don't care. I love looking at the aesthetics of witchcraft, and that's all it is to me, is aesthetics. So don't base your talent as a witch or a cook or whatever else on the aesthetics of others. Get inspiration from that. Doesn't matter what they're doing. in their own personal space. Just see it for what it is, something beautiful to look at, and don't necessarily judge yourself or others on the aesthetics that are chosen. Just enjoy them. Aesthetics, they get a bad rap and they shouldn't. Take somebody's aesthetics with a grain of salt and don't get all bent out of shape about, whether somebody's aesthetics determines what their practice looks like. They're not a real witch, whatever. It doesn't matter. Just take inspiration from it. I hope what I post on Instagram might inspire somebody else, because it's beautiful. It's beautiful, it's cool, it's fucking awesome. Why wouldn't you want to be surrounded with all that? But yeah, don't get all bent out of shape about it. Just find inspiration in it. Strive to be happy.